So this letter starts off with, "Dear me, how's it going?" And I know that this is around 2020 because it's mentioning COVID and wondering like there's gonna be a vaccine.
This is a paper that I was assigned to write in elementary school, centering around mental health. And I'm not really sure how the topic of mental health correlates with what you want your life to look like in the future, but perhaps something to do with idealism.
Did you write a letter to your future self when you were in elementary school or otherwise?
I did. I wrote one in elementary school and one in 7th grade.
I mentioned also writing. I've always had fun with writing. Do you still enjoy writing? I hope so, because writing is a big part of my life. Yes, younger me, I still do enjoy writing. I'm still writing that book that you're planning at this time, so doing that.
And I said that my major was in business administration, which I have a master's degree in. Still looking at perhaps getting a master's degree in something. Not looking to study business. Really, again, that was just one of those elementary school things. My dad studied business in school, and like Lynn mentioned, you're at that sort of stage where you're formulating your own independent opinions, but they're still shaped a lot by what your parents' opinions are. So I think that that's where I got the whole business thing from. I also guess I thought that studying business might, like, make me money. However, I don't know, it's just not really something I'm that passionate about. I only ever took one business class in high school. It was fun, but that's just not what I envisioned the path for me being.
I really wish my teachers knew that every now and then I burn out and can't handle everything as well. I wish I could do better. I don't want to disappoint people, but I'm only human. I at least realized that I was being kind of hard on myself because it really was stressful at that time because, like, you know, pandemic, that big jump from like only having like half of 8th grade year to immediate like freshman, and then just like a bunch of assignments. Like I was being really hard on myself.
The one in middle school was more or less just talking about music, what music I liked and kind of things I was interested in. But in elementary, I kind of remember at the time, I wanted to be like a businessman. You know, I think business is just really appealing when you're young because it's like, you know, wear nice suits, you know, drink a cup of Joe in the morning, get that bread, you know what I'm saying, get that moolah.
I say that I drive a Tesla and am saving up for a truck. I don't know where that came from. I've never really been a truck guy. Teslas are cool cars. I don't think now that I have the knowledge of the electric grid and like motor-based infrastructure in this country that necessarily having a Tesla at this point is a good thing. Maybe when charging stations become more widespread, maybe if we upgrade the grid so where if everybody has an electric car, there's less of a strain on the grid, but I'm just not so sure about that. And a truck, what was I thinking? Do you see me? You see me? Do I look like I drive a truck?
I say all the time I want to live in Bhutan, but I can't because they don't allow dual nationalities, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, you're not going to renounce your U.S. citizenship?
I mean, I might, like if it really gets to that point, you know, I might get my education, you know, get a little bit of bread and just give up my citizenship and move to Bhutan, start a new life. I don't think my 4th grade self ever envisions that. I don't even think I knew what Bhutan was back then.
Dear future me, be better than what you are now. Don't throw tables at teachers like you used to. Don't do that. Be good.
Is that something you really used to do?
It's something I really used to do is pick up tables.
My family seems to think they understand me pretty well, when quite frankly, I'm not even sure if I understand myself all that well. Life is honestly too short to have a reputation, because, you know, we were talking about reputations or something, that was like part of the assignment. And I honestly didn't know why when I was younger I really didn't like myself all that much, and it's because of that one psychological stage of child development when, like, the child doesn't really understand themselves in that kind of like limbo state of, I don't really believe what my parents believe anymore, I'm leaning towards more of what I want to believe, but I still don't know what I believe. That kind of like not knowing where you are stage in your like childhood. I was still kind of in that, and it just was, everything was really confusing. I didn't really know what I liked too much.
Finally, I say, everybody knows that there's enough negativity in the world, so if I can please everyone and bring positivity into the world for even a short time, I'm satisfied, which I think is generally a great platitude. However, I always have struggled a little bit with the truth that you can't please everybody. And as much as you try to, you're never going to be able to. And struggling with resolving that truth within myself and what that means in the context of my behavior and my actions. However, even though I acknowledge that it's impossible to please everybody. If I can at least bring some positivity in the world to whoever will listen, whoever will pay attention, that is still consistent. I will be satisfied.
Do you think you're on pace, the general thesis of your letter? Perhaps the details have changed, perhaps
Yeah.
living in a different place, having a different occupation, but that whole get a job, get a fortune, move. Are you still thinking you're on that path? Has that changed for you?
Well, as of right now, not really.
Do you feel that you have grown? Do you think your predictions were accurate?
I think so.
And if you're like really trying to abide by what you wrote in your letter to your future self, you need to give yourself the opportunity to change and to grow. And it's fun to look back and be nostalgic on like how I used to write, the little idiosyncrasies which I think are still present in my writing, my little childhood dreams of owning a truck and living in Colorado. But that's really for me all I think it's good for it. My current stage in life is nostalgia.
I was a very anxious, insecure person at the time, and over the years, after finding people who supported me, after finding who I was myself, I feel like I've definitely grown from the person I was in freshman year.
Do you think that doing a letter to your future self when you're young kind of helps you like develop your character, develop your personality a bit, talking about what you want to do in the future, where you envision yourself being?
Well, I think yes and no. I think, number one, obviously attitudes change over time, and your environment, say you might be moving to new environments, experiencing new things culturally, traveling, new friends, new interests and hobbies popping up, that will all over the years shape your view about your future and your outlook on life.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's like necessary for developing social skills, but I think for one, it's fun.
I think so, for sure. I mean, it feels refreshing. It feels kind of like you're having a conversation with someone who's not like really there anymore.
It's a great thing to be able to look back on who you were at a point in time or what you expected of yourself and just feel like, just reminisce, I guess.